Thank you so much for listening to Blue Sky Radio here at 102.7 FM Radio Waterloo. Today is the 8th of August, and I'm really excited because I have guests with me in the studio. Berg and Troy King are here with me via Star-Crossed Productions, and they have information with them. If you're on Facebook Live, for example, right now, you can follow. We're going to be showing some images, and right now we have the poster for the film that you guys are making. So thank you for coming to the studio.
Thank you for having us.
Glad to be here.
Awesome. So do you want to introduce yourselves maybe first?
Okay. Hello out there. I'm Eric Berg. I'm the founder of Star-Crossed Productions, writer, director, producer, actor, and to my left we have.
My name is Troy King. I'm the executive producer of Faith Check. I'm also one of the co-stars. Yes, I'm very happy to be here.
Thank you. So tell us how you got into acting and film.
I've grown up with watching movies at home, going to the theater and that, and I always had a passion for interest in acting. So after I was done high school, I decided to try to pursue that as a career.
Nice.
I went to Fanshawe College for theater, and then after that I started producing my own things.
Yeah. Awesome. And what about you, Troy?
I've always had an interest in the performing arts, and I've always been a movie buff, but I think one of my favorite things has always been, how the movies are made. I like looking at, how they put the puzzle pieces together. And then when I was in high school, I sort of fell into this, completely by accident. When I was in high school, I was doing Macbeth, and the lady that we had playing Lady Macbeth, this was a stage play, she had mentioned to me that she was doing camera work on a film set. And I'm like, oh, cool. I've always really liked that sort of thing. And she mentioned to me, yeah, we just lost one of our cast members. We're looking to replace him. Maybe you should audition. And I'm like, oh, cool. Yeah, I'll give it a shot. And, the second I stepped on the set, I was absolutely in love with it. It's a thrilling experience from start to finish, seeing kind of how things are put together and then being able to step in front of the camera and, contribute yourself.
That's awesome. Well, I want to thank you for coming to the studio here today.
Thank you.
Blue Sky Radio is advocacy radio, and I also say too that I like talking with people who are doing something extraordinary, something passionate. So, and the radio station is community based. So
Right.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having us.
Awesome. So let's get to the next question. Tell us where you went to school for film.
Fanshawe College. I was there for about 3 years. 2.5, 3 years I lived there, and that's where I did learned about theater. But they also had one class where there was on-camera reading and stuff like that, which got me into the camera work stuff. And once I was out on my own, I started getting the bug about, like Troy said, about putting the puzzle together of what is a film or a show, or how the process goes with that.
Mm-hmm.
It was really sort of an accident for me. I never, fully intended to get involved. I never, attended a higher education. I sort of came into this right out of high school. So it was sort of a lucky chance. All the pieces just fell in together at the right time.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Well, all right. So tell us about Star-Crossed Productions.
Star-Crossed kind of came out of several things. My passion for filmmaking, and I just gotten out of working on a fantasy program with another production group, and Troy was a part of that. And it was a fun project to work on, but it was sort of an embittered experience because not everyone took it as seriously as we did, and so we took a shot at wanting to do something on our own that was our own thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Star-Crossed was sort of formed out of the ashes out of this previous production company, and I will agree, it was sort of a bittersweet experience for a lot of people. When someone's not taking something seriously, when you're very passionate about it, it can be a bit of a frustrating experience, and it really marred it for a lot of people. So we started to go into business for ourselves and create something that we really wanted to. We didn't exactly have a lot of control and freedom to do as we pleased. So when we formed our own production company, that sort of allowed us to, make the movies we wanted to make.
Yeah.
And it's a lot more comfortable now.
Good. That's really great. Well, I appreciate that. Okay, well, I guess you kind of answer how did Faith Check get started then?
With that, Faith Check was our first independent film project. I grew up watching the movies about Jesus and stories from the Bible and stuff. And then there's also this other independent company called PureFlix that makes their own faith-based movies, modernized and biblical stuff and that. And we wanted to take a stab at seeing what would we do and trying to make one of those.
Oh, okay.
My goal as a filmmaker has always been to make pictures for people from all walks of life, regardless of your religious orientation or ideology. My goal has always been to make an entertaining picture. And Eric came to me with this idea for a project about, loss and betrayal and family. And, it's a universal theme that even if you don't follow faith-based beliefs, you can still get something out of it. And that's ultimately what I'm trying to do as well.
My father watched the film. He said he got something out of it, seeing it 4 times, something different each time.
Oh, okay.
So there's really something for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to be a Christian to watch it. It's just basically, without giving the plot of the film away, it's Jesus versus the devil in the grand game of chess that life is, and each of the characters within the story are different, almost chess pieces, and how they're moved through the story.
Oh, wow.
The story of the game is who's going to win this round.
Basically, God and the devil are, they've been playing this game of chess for centuries on end, and this group of characters that you encounter and that we follow over several years of their lives, they're just the latest pieces on the board.
Okay. Yeah. That really explains it well. Good for you.
Thank you.
You put a lot of thought into it. That's really amazing. Huh. Do you want to talk about the production?
Do you want to go first?
It's really a labor of love. We've been working on this for 5-6 years now. It started off as, we intended it to be a 1-season miniseries, and as our ambitions grew and more people gained interest in it, it started to evolve, and you said, oh, we'll do another season, oh, we'll do a movie, we'll do 2 movies.
Oh, wow.
And it just took on a life of its own, really. And as I said, we shoot on location. We always use real locations and sets. We're almost never in a studio unless we have to re-record our lines. Most of the actors, God bless them, do their own stunts. We've been fortunate to work with a lot of big names and a lot of very professional people. So it's been an absolute blast, even through some of the most trying days.
One of my regular jobs is to clean up a movie theater studio, and I always had to do that in the morning before I went to shoot on set. So going back and forth, and then by meeting everyone, we drive out to the location, and we'd always start the day with a word of prayer, thanking God that we could be here and that we had a chance to do something that could be special and important to us that we could share with everybody else later down the road. So we gave thanks, and then we try to shoot 4 or 5 scenes a day. Sometimes we would go to 2 or 3 locations. We try to maximize the space that we would be using each day.
What are some of the locations?
We've shot
all over Ontario. We've used a lot of urban environments, barns and fields and forests. Really trying to take advantage of what we have to offer. A lot of there's a facility in Elmira that is primarily used to help the disabled and the less fortunate. We've used some of their offices. We've just basically made use of our connections. People we know that have been in different businesses. They've been more than gracious to help us out, even take part in the production in some instances. So we filmed at the KW Little Theater.
Oh, nice.
We've never had a formal prison set up. So, through trickery and a few lighting practices, we've been able to build our own prisons out of practically nothing.
That was one of the main things that we had to construct.
Yeah. Prison is definitely a extraordinary place to be able to go and film. So that would makes sense to do it outside.
we're minimalists, really.
Yeah, well, sometimes you got to do what you got to do to make it happen, right?
Yeah.
You use your creativity to make it happen. So that's really
Definitely.
awesome. Talk about cast members.
Oh, we've been fortunate enough to have an incredible cast, from all walks of life. People from all over the world. Our gentleman that plays Jesus, he's from India, and he's done a lot of great film work over there.
Oh,
We've had people who, non-Christians. We've had all sorts of faith-based people.
so you're very inclusive.
Yes.
We
Yeah.
try to include everyone. Joseph L. Mankiewicz was one of the prime directors of the 50s and 60s era, and that he had a saying where he didn't care what actors did or who they were seeing outside of work, just as long as you're on set, ready, prepared to go.
Yeah.
We tried to keep it kind of like that.
Cool.
The gentleman that plays Ben Heston in the film, he's done a lot of great work in Hollywood, an extra on movies like Deadpool and Suicide Squad, and
Oh, wow.
we were very fortunate to get him. He was nothing but professional in the first season of the show, and we weren't able to get him back later on, but it was an absolute thrill working with him. Just if his schedule had permitted it, we would have loved to have had him back.
His love interest in the first film is played by a girl named Megan Fritz, who came to us at the 11th hour. We still needed someone to play the love interest, and she actually, without giving the plot away, she is a nurse in the first film in the series, and she actually is a nurse in real life.
Oh.
So
it's sort of art imitating life.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to show a quick picture of some of the cast?
Yeah, absolutely.
About them?
So this is our our second table read. So this was some of the first cast here. We have Shivam at the bottom right corner, who plays Jesus there. Just above him is Hayden and Troy. Hayden plays Lucifer, and he was just one of the best roles cast. He just takes everything so seriously. It's like meat and potatoes with him when he reads a scene in that, and yet he's a complete prankster and jokester off camera. There's Ron and Susan in the middle. They were sort of the adult, more mature heavies of the first film, and I can't say enough about Susan there. She actually had to play her role twice with two different people.
Oh.
And
she was a trooper
all the time. And then we have Mike at the far left there in the gray shirt. He was the villain of the piece, and he's also supplied some of the ADR equipment that we've been using.
Oh, nice.
He's never played a villain before, and yet his stuff is like so creepy in the first film. And we tried to include him in a couple of other special spots since then.
Yeah, Mike is a total sweetheart in real life. He's a father, he's a husband, but he nailed, the sinister villain so perfectly. He was an absolute blast to work with. I'd be cowering in fear one minute, and then we'd be hugging and cracking jokes when the camera's cut. He was wonderful.
He was very believable.
Absolutely.
We have Michelle there with the gray sweater there. She was always so sweet to work with, always very supportive. At the very far back there in the glasses and the cap, that's my good friend Jim Schneider. I love his kids. They're very great to play with and work with, and he's been so supportive. He played a couple of small parts in the show, and he's also the composer for the series.
Oh, nice. Sweet.
Music. And way at the back there with the glasses, that's my friend John Demeter.
Okay. Did you want to say something about John Demeter?
That was John Demeter was like a father figure to a lot of us. He was sort of a mentor and confidant, and he was a total sweetheart. He plays one of the, police officers in the film, and the father of one of the main characters. Without giving too much away, but the day we found out what happened, we were shooting in a barn. We were going to be shooting one of our big climactic fight scenes. And, we had heard the night before that something had happened. He was a little under the weather. Figured, okay, he's probably just got a cold or something. It's that time of the year. Everyone's getting sick. So we're all on set, getting ready. And then we get the call because he's late. He's never late.
Never late. I called his wife and asked him what was going on. And he apparently had a brain aneurysm in the middle of the night, and he had passed away. And I was like, what?
it's impossible to continue after that, knowing that sort of thing had happened, It had thrown the mindset of everyone off completely.
Yeah.
It was actually pretty cold that day, and so we actually ended up just gathering in the house and just shared a few stories, and just we'd done a couple shots, so we decided just to stop filming that day.
Yeah.
When we put the DVD out, fortunately,
A friend of his that was okay with taking over the role, and that's where Susan comes in. She had done some of her scenes with John, and then she had to come in and reshoot them with the new person.
Oh.
We included all of his scenes as an extra on the DVD, and we showed it to his wife later on, and she was absolutely floored. She never, really seen her husband perform on film before. He was a guitar teacher. He was, he owned a furniture store, but she had never seen him in that sort of environment. I think that really was special for her.
Yeah.
I had met him. We had done a theater show together. We just were on stage for like 2 minutes together, so we had gotten to know each other and worked together in that. And then he gave me a job working at his carpet store
Nice.
for a couple of years. And as soon as I approached him about this Project Vaptech, he was on board, ready to try something. And I had originally written the part of the police cop for him. For him.
Wow. Well, let's take a look at one of the other pictures that we can share. You can tell us maybe a bit about that scene.
Okay. That's a location near my home that they let me use. It's a community place that they kind of have the walls that looked like a hospital and that. So we had a couple of hospital scenes in the show that we had shot there. We've got Megan there who plays Ashley, and Emily who plays Chloe there. Two friends who are completely opposites, but they have the magnetism of being friends, being there for each other.
Oh, nice.
There for each other. I had to drive the star back home because he was doing something else later that day. So Hayden had directed that scene there in the background. There he shot that while I was gone.
So this is a bit of behind the scenes kind of thing. I'm not sure what's going on here.
This is Mike Delisle, who plays the lead villain that we had mentioned earlier.
Okay.
And this is Emily again, playing his secretary. Basically, I think Mike's sort of, aim for the character. He's, skeezy and, scummy as he can be. Again, I absolutely love Mike to death, and I was, stunned with how well he managed to play such an awful human being.
Especially with this particular scene, we don't want to give it away, but
I think you can kind of tell what's happening.
Yeah, you can kind of tell. It's like inappropriate at the workplace.
Yes.
Yeah, and it really fits into nowadays with the Me Too movement and things like that too, and sexism and,
Yeah, and his character is sort of, an allegory for a lot of those, people that believe they're untouchable and invincible.
Yeah. Good. Did you want to look at another photo?
Sure.
Oh, yeah. That was one of our early days of shooting. That's Kevin there and with Megan, and that's me in the middle there. That was shot at my grandma's place that she opened her own to us to let us shoot there for 3 or 4 days. And we added an extra day because we had to go back and shoot with the new cop there a couple of times. So she was very, very supportive and very gracious. And she actually doesn't have that place anymore now. So seeing these pictures again.
Yeah.
It's kind of emotional. So we have the time capsule of that house and my years and memories there.
That's nice. Let's take a look at a different one.
There's Hayden who plays Lucifer, and me. He was cast as Lucifer. He was the only person I had thought who could play him. The other company that we had spoken about earlier, he was coming into the production as I was going out, and we met briefly and started to talk to him. I had worked with his brother. He's actually triplets and now.
Oh.
And so I met with one of his other brothers on a previous project, and I wanted talked with him about using him in another film, and he was just right on board right away. And I can't say enough good works about this man. He's been such a blessing to work with, and his main job is working at a McDonald's here in town. But the catch is he works on the midnight shift, so often he would be just getting off of work and then be shooting with us during the day.
Oh, wow.
He's a total professional, and again, he's someone else that he's an absolute sweetheart, your best friend in real life, but
yeah,
he's so good at playing these sinister, awful characters. And I always thought of him as like a big teddy bear. He's a tall guy, and just he'll give you the biggest hug you've ever had, and then once the camera rolls, he'll slap the taste out of your mouth.
Slice your head off.
Very good.
Yeah.
So what was the release like of your film?
That was an interesting experience. When you're doing press and you really don't really have any rest. You're constantly traveling around doing whatever you can to promote, and we went on some local morning talk shows. We opened at the Princess Cinema. It was a one-night showing, and if I can be honest, I didn't think I really expected us to have a great deal of people there. We had a fantastic turnout, much better than I expected.
At least half of the theater was full.
Yeah.
I think,
Yeah,
which
that's
was
awesome.
surprising to us. Lots of our family and friends had come out to support
Yeah.
us. And brought their friends and that.
The Princess typically showcases a lot of independent projects and smaller productions. And for a company, we didn't really have a lot of money to promote. We went on some shows. We put flyers and posters up. I think we had a fantastic turnout for what we, did manage.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we managed to show the movie, and we also had a panel discussion with some of the cast members that were there
Oh, nice.
that were able to make it, and some other independent filmmakers in the local area came out to support us that we had known.
Nice.
Kitchener-Waterloo is it's sort of a hotbed. It's an untapped hotbed for creative talent and local artists that hasn't really been struck yet. So I feel like there's a lot going on here that hasn't really been explored, and people that are enthusiastic about it are more than willing to help out their fellow creators.
Yeah.
When I came out of college, I originally wanted to do the whole Hollywood thing of getting there, trying to get known and trying to come up with things. But I found out after college that it is a cut and throat thing. You got to step on other people and get ahead and be the skinniest, the slimmest, the sexiest, whatever, to do whatever you want to do out there. And as my relationship with God has grown over the years in doing this, I realized a lot of that isn't me. I've seen him bless like some people out there that have made a difference in doing things out there, but I didn't think I was going to be one, but I still had a desire to do film work and learn the craft in that. And like what Troy said about this being a hotbed, that people are passionate about doing things that maybe they can't make it in Hollywood. They can still do their own thing and have their own message and get their thing out there. So we wanted to find people that
stay true to themselves. Like, that's really nice, right?
And so like in this area, we found people that were able to work with us and grow within our own thing without being all Hollywood and that sort of thing. So that was a very big.
A lot of homegrown talent.
I got to ask you, since our connection, I got introduced to you via Frank Reed, and you did show me one of the scenes with him and his wife. So
Frank plays in the first movie. He actually just has 2 or 3 scenes as a cop that has like one line at the end of that. And he was very supportive and local at the time for that. And then I was impressed with him enough. I wanted to have him back again when we started doing the series, but he and his wife were moving out to Saskatchewan or Alberta or something. So we only had him for a brief window one day, and then 2 years later, he's able to come back and do some pickups with us now recently. So thank you, Frank, for coming out.
He's a real one.
Yeah, he is, definitely. Do you want to talk about the production of the series?
Oh, the first film is its own story, where beginning, middle, and end and stuff. And originally when we were doing it, we didn't think we were going to do more than that, but we had gotten to know the characters and gotten to become friends in the production, and that we saw more. And I think God said to me that there's more room for more growth here. So we transitioned from doing a movie to doing, originally actually it was going to be another movie, but then we transitioned to doing an episodic series of different things. And we switched some of the characters around. Some people who were minors in the first film became the major thing. Basically, it's the same kind of concept, with the characters growing through life, going through things, meeting tests of faith. And we also deal with themes of family, togetherness, and relationships, and hard times, and just how comforting and supportive that can be.
Nice.
Yeah. It was fascinating to see how some people, grew, and the cast sort of became like a second family. we got to know these people so intimately and so closely that they became like your best friend. And we did originally want to do the film, and it grew from there because everyone had gotten so close and the chemistry became so tight. And we would spend hours sitting together talking about, oh, what if we did this? What if we added this to their backstory? And we eventually came up with so much content that we decided, oh, there's enough here for us to do, more movies, more episodes. And
the second film was actually going to have flashbacks to see how the characters got to where they were.
Oh, okay.
But then the ideas became so enriched, we thought, let's just focus on the journey of that before we do another film to where that was and that.
Yeah.
It became too much to, contain to one project. We decided, we can plan long term, and we've got a lot more in the future.
Yeah. So what is the mission or vision for Star-Crossed?
Well, basically, it does have a faith-based ideology, a Christian message, strong values, but we do want people from all walks of life to be able to take something from it. If you're Christian, if you have a strong faith belief, we want you to, be able to enjoy this for what that is. But if, you're unsure, or if you're, just curious, we want you to still be able to enjoy the universal messages and themes, love, family, loss, betrayal, death. These are things that people from all walks of life can feel.
Yeah.
And to take off the themes of family and stuff, we've seen the characters in the first season. The first season actually takes place over like a 10-year period, and see these characters grow before a big transition between the two seasons, and then more continued growth after that. And you don't have to be a Christian to just enjoy these. These are things that everybody can relate to.
At the end of the day, it's still a small production made by people who love movies and love making movies. They just want to make an entertaining picture.
Mm-hmm.
So we talked a bit about the casting changes, but is there anything else that you wanted to mention or add to that?
When we did the first film, we had my friend Emily, who played Chloe in the first film, and she came in for the pilot in one episode after that, but then she wanted to go on and do her own directing in the theater and do other things. And the transition to get somebody else was a little clumsy because we had already shot some extra scenes with her that we weren't going to be able to use because it wasn't a completed thing. So we had to call somebody else back in to play the part. Lindsay Greenbrush, who came in to play Chloe in episodes 2 and 4 of season 1, and she had done a small character in the first film, and she is so sweet and so caring, and just like as soon as you look at her, you want to cry for her in the show.
You really couldn't have asked, for a better group of people to work with.
Yeah, it was when Emily departed, I was fortunate that most of everybody else's work wasn't affected, but there was one person we actually had to have back in to shoot, and we had been doing so much that by the time we had actually gotten back to doing the pickups for those specific scenes that we missed almost a year had passed in between before availability could be lined up in that.
I guess it says a lot about your passion in what you're doing, that it's taking a long time, and even with the changes, you're still staying with it.
It's a labor of love.
Yeah.
Everyone grows up, they move on and do different things, but the passion they had for the project kept them finding ways to come back. And it wasn't always easy, but people believed in it, and they believed in making it succeed and work.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, maybe we can take another look at one of the photos from.
This is Mike Delisle and myself again. It's interesting what my character, grew into. This is early in the production.
First film, yeah.
First film, and
so how many films have you made?
We've done one movie film, which is just under 2 hours, and then the series is like about 45 minutes to an hour each episode. And we've done 7 episodes in 2 seasons.
Oh wow, good for you.
And yeah, basically my character was sort of, his thug, his henchman, his underling, carrying out his orders. But I don't want to spoil anything. But, as the series grows, my character does go through a lot of changes, both personally and professionally. And you get to see him evolve into a totally different person than what he starts out as.
Mm-hmm. Well, that happens in life, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. This looks like a fun,
Oh, yeah,
fun.
that was almost one of our first 12-hour days where it's just been going constantly. We'd done conference room things. We did police. That was the group looking at some shots that we had shot for the police interrogation scene. That's my good buddy Eric with a K, playing the police commissioner, and Hayden, who's Lucifer, who's helping with some secondary camera work that day, and Emily, who is Chloe in the first film, us checking the intensity of some shots at the end of the day, us being very pleased about it.
Nice. And who do we have here?
That's Susan again, and Megan, and this is Mark, who took John Demeter's place after he had passed away.
Oh.
This was one of the reshoot days at my grandma's.
Okay.
And God bless Mark for being. Nobody will ever be able to fill, the passion that John had for the project. But Mark was an absolutely incredible talent. He captures, the stern, tired father who's trying to balance life between being a police officer and, caring for his family very well. He absolutely nailed it.
And he has the character has a bit of an obsession with finding a certain type of villain, and he doesn't really care about what the consequences for these people are as long as
he sort of becomes
pay
blinded.
potentially.
His family, unintentionally starts to take a back seat as his obsession grows with finding this person.
Oh.
And when he finds them, he's presented with the good versus evil choice of either cold-blooded murder or accepting that the justice system can punish
Basically,
the person.
the devil and the angel on his shoulder telling him to do different things.
Yeah, we shot that scene in a field at my dad's farm, that was a Sunday morning shooting, and the intensity they both brought in the way the cinematographer set up the shots is really good. Really good.
Amazing. This looks like an interesting scene too.
Yeah, that's Kevin Wren. This was our last day of shooting, and there is Susan, John Demeter's wife, who opened her house on the last day of shooting, shooting to us to shoot there for that day. She heard about the project and she wanted to continue what John had started in supporting us. And we showed her the deleted scenes of her husband that day, and she just about broke down. Watching them.
It was really important to her, I think, and continue this project in his memory. We did our best to maintain a close relationship with her and support her as much as we could. And
she's taken over her husband's carpet store, which is on Victoria Street near the Harveys here in Kitchener, and she's. I still get a message from her every few months here how her family's doing, and she asks how the production is going, etc.
Nice. That's awesome.
Wonderful woman. And here's Michelle and Ron. That's again on the last day of shooting in John's house. This was just in between some entrance shot takes. They both brought a lot of lightness to it. Ron hasn't continued with us since the first film, but he's doing quite well. I think he's a sports commentator right now somewhere here in Kitchener. And, Michelle, she actually lives up north, so she actually drove like 2 hours each day to be with us on set to work on the first film, and we have her appear in a couple of episodes of the series as well.
Nice. So for anybody listening in the community, we're doing a Facebook Live via Blue Sky Radio, and thank you if you're listening on 102.7 FM, and also you can find Radio Waterloo online at radiowaterloo.ca. Today we're here with Starcross Productions, and thank you for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Yes.
What's with this image?
That's John again. This was at the table reading in January 2015. That's one of our early readings, just the two of us hanging out in between scenes and cracking. He always liked to crack jokes with us.
The mood on set, between takes was we always did our best to maintain, a very light, positive atmosphere.
Nice.
Yeah. We were shooting some stuff that can be interpreted as like a heavy drama and then suggestive subject matter, but usually the mood off camera was very, very light to keep things going professionally and things like that.
Yeah. Sweet.
That's my good buddy Jim again, who
our composer.
He's just a just a master.
He looks very jovial.
He has a lot of humor about him, and he always keeps things light, and he's always so full of hope and always enjoys working with us.
He's a brilliant composer. We've got a lot of original music for the film, and we were very fortunate to land him to do a lot of our tracks. Yeah, he did a fantastic job. I can't speak highly enough of him.
His kids have a cameo appearance in the first film, and a small part to do with the plot. And one of my favorite bloopers was on our day. You were at a fan convention one day, and I was just shooting the thing by myself and trying to keep two cameras working, which was sort of a bit of a mistake. But we were doing this one shot where a buddy of mine and I were talking at a coffee shop that we were renting that day, and then his wife was actually in the background talking to my mom as they were extras, and then their daughter happens to walk right into the shop with one of the toys on set. And it wasn't really supposed to happen that day, and I kind of wish now I just went for it and just picked her up and made her part of the scene and that. But we kind of had this laughing moment. Oh, the kids in the background. Okay, we got to reset up and that. But it was one of the funner moments on set.
Nice.
Oh my.
Oh yeah, that's the cross that my dad and I built for the showing of the crucifixion scene in a flashback in the first film that was shot on my dad's property, and that's I think that's Shabam as Jesus just going over his lines before the take in that, and we had shot out in the bush there for a couple of days, and that cross is still out there after 4 years. So,
Did we build that?
Yeah, my dad and I cut a tree down and let the wood dry over the winter, and then tied it together and then set it up there.
Wow.
There.
And it's still out there.
Still out there.
Because I don't think I was here that day.
Yeah, you weren't there that day.
No.
I never knew about that.
Yeah.
And I think that's the last photo.
Is it?
Yeah. So here we have ourselves. We're in the CKMS studio. And we'll go back to you guys. There we go.
Hello.
So what are your future plans?
We've always, we don't want to rest on our laurels. We've always got something in the works. We're always looking ahead to, what's next. I myself have a couple of different projects going on. Don't want to say too much right now, but I'm hoping that by October, I might have something to share, but it's a different project than what's going on right now. It's a bit of a darker look at the side of fiction. I'm very excited to share what that's all about.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
Right now, we just have one more day of shooting for Faith Check, an action scene to shoot that's part of the season 2 show. After that, I just want to take a bit of a break for a while. We still have a lot of editing and scoring to do. And
Nice.
I think what a lot of people don't realize about film production is that the actual shooting is only a small portion of what is actually going on. You may shoot a film for 2 or 3 months total, but then post-production, editing, scoring, cleaning up the image and background noise, all this stuff can take a very, very long time. So even when we're done shooting, there's still so much more work to be done. And then you have to promote and you have to actually get it out into theaters. And it's a really arduous and time-consuming process.
Yeah. And then publicity is like a whole other animal unto itself. To get the word out there, either Facebook, YouTube, or putting up posters in your local area and putting it in the newspaper. All this stuff requires effort. And we've all done so much shooting, and right now I'm kind of looking forward to an editing break, like keep working on the editing, but then take a break from acting for a bit and be with my family a little bit more and see what the response for these seasons are. And I've already talked with one of our cinematographers in season 2. He's also our buddy Josh. He wants to take a stab at writing the third season of the show and
Oh, wow.
see where that goes.
Cool.
I'm going to send him some outlines and things like that about what we could achieve and see what he comes up with.
Nice. So how can people purchase these DVDs?
You can purchase DVDs or digital copies of the film directly from us. I believe digital copies are about $20, but if you want to purchase a physical copy, we do have a limited number of autographed DVDs that come with posters. They come with all the extra features and special bonus content on a additional disc. We will include our emails in the description of the live video, but you can purchase them from me at Troy Aaron King 1996 at hotmail.com, or
my email is stnvfan at hotmail.com. You can send me an email about whether you'd like a digital copy or a DVD data disc that we send out as 2 discs set.
Nice.
So when you purchase a physical copy, you get 2 discs, one with the film and one with all the bonus content, and you also get an autographed poster.
And with the DVD release right now, we're releasing an advanced copy of the first episode of the series, which is already done. Everything else is still in editing phases.
Wow. You guys are busy.
Oh, yes. Never stop.
That's really amazing. Well, what else would you like to talk about since we're here?
I think with Starcrossed, we have a wonderful group, and my love and thanks to everybody that's been a part of the show and that. And we've taken this level of storytelling to such a place that I didn't even think was possible when we first started on our own. Up to this point, I've financed 99% of the show ourselves, which has become pretty, we're low budget, but for our group, we're still pretty costly, and that's part of the reason why we want to have a break to recoup some of our losses, some of our investments, and see where things go to from here.
Yeah.
The scope and scale is far beyond what I ever expected it to be. I didn't think we'd be, really going this long. The post-production aspect of it is really only shared amongst a few people. So, it's a very, tedious and grueling process. But again, like I mentioned earlier, it's a labor of love. A lot of people are very passionate about what we're doing here, and they're very interested in seeing it succeed and grow onto something grander than what we had expected.
In between takes and when we'd have lunch together, we would talk about like what other things that everybody else is doing and what their passion projects are. How can we help and support those things?
Nice.
And moving forward, I do have my own projects going. It's a bit different. It's based on some classic horror literature that I hope to have more information about that soon, but we're still very early in pre-production, so I don't want to give away too much just yet, but anyone that's a lover of horror literature will get an absolute kick out of that.
I'm kind of at the point where taking a break and stuff, but we do have some future project ideas. One is a short about roughly taken about the end of days world, where it's just one man and one woman from opposing forces having to work together to survive. Do we have a potential new Garden of Eden for mankind to live again, and that sort of concept. And then the third season of Faith Check that's being written would be about the end of days that Revelation is described in the Holy Bible that we're hoping to achieve, which would require, we're planning on upgrading our equipment and maybe going with some more green screen scenes and like a lot of more action, a bigger scope than what we've done before.
It would be thus far, I think, the biggest project that we've done.
We're getting some comments on Facebook Live here. Hey, it's my brother Troy.
Hello.
Maria.
That's my brother and my mother.
Oh, nice.
Hi, guys.
But yes, I think thus far that would season 3 would be the most epic in scope production that we've done yet. That would require a lot of forthcoming planning and preparation. But I think a lot of people really enjoy what we're doing. They want to see it grow and succeed, and we've really hit a string of sixes so far. We've been very fortunate and lucky to work with some of the people that we have, and I think that it can only get better from here.
Yeah. when we transitioned from doing the movie into a series, not everybody was able to, that did the movie could continue in that, but they still want to support us where they can. And then we brought in some new people that we've gotten to know that added more dimensions to the characters, or added another layer of some sweetness to some of the feminine parts and things like that. And I just can't say enough about how supportive everybody has been and how much they enjoy working with just us. Like, not everyone that was a part of the show was a believer or things like that, but they understood our talent and our vision and our scope for the projects, that they invested their time and resources into giving us the best that they could.
Yeah.
That's sort of what I was reiterating earlier. It's for everybody. It's not just for faith-based individuals. It's for people from all walks of life. Everybody can get something out of it. You can, like Eric's father, he got 3 or 4 different things out of it each time he watched it. So
Yeah.
anybody should be able to enjoy this film.
Yeah, and my dad did he's a farmer in that, and he likes to work with his hands in that and tools and things, and he helped design some of the stage stuff, and he helped build the cross and certain things because he understood my passion for it and invested some time into help with the carpentry.
Nice.
Thanks, Dad.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, thanks again for coming to the station and sharing your passion with us. And I got to say, Eric, you're going to be coming to this event that I'm helping to organize on 14th of September, which is a mental health day. And you're going to help with videography.
Yeah, we're going to shoot some stuff out of that, some of the highlights of the show and the benefit. And I will be bringing copies of Faith Check, the DVD there. So if anyone wants to purchase copies, I will have 25 copies with me to sell out there, and
Autographs to sign.
There you go.
It'll be a fun experience, interesting day.
Yeah, I'm really excited. Well, I appreciate your time coming to the station. We can have you on again in the future.
I would definitely love to come back.
We'd love to come back. Thank you for having us. I see Faith Check from a simple verse in the Bible that says, "Let man see your good works, that they may glorify your Father in heaven." And I know God has been with us through this project, blessing us and so that we can help bless the world through our work and effort and endeavors. The first movie is 1 hour and 51 minutes, but that's all. Each scene is like 1.5 hours of work to build that out. Into what we get on film. So we all gave so much.
It's very, Tarantino-esque in the fact that it's heavy scenes of dialogue. And we really focus on building characters and, creating people that the audience can really latch onto. Long scenes of dialogue. Of course, lots of, action and storytelling as well. But we wanted to, feel that these are people that you could actually, and relate to.
Yeah.
People that you could see yourself interacting with.
Yeah, like everyday situations.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
Yeah. Exactly.
We with our film, like most, we actually took the risk and went a little more mature than what an average Christian movie would be. We have a little more intensity in the action. We have more suggestiveness a little bit. But those are things that are in the world today, so that people could relate and identify with.
It's definitely very raw and real. We don't really like to pull punches. It's very, honest and brutal depiction of how society is. And, but having belief and, trusting in those that can and will do good, it does have a more positive outcome than you might expect.
Yeah, and we have the message of out there that God loves everyone, and that He wants to hear from everyone, no matter what you've done, no matter what your lifestyle is. He is there with open arms to receive you all the time.
Thank you. I like that you have a positive message and inclusion. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time, and I'm looking forward to having you with us again.
God bless you guys. Thank you guys for your time.
Love you 3000.
So this is at 102.7 FM CKMS Radio Waterloo. Radio Waterloo is a nonprofit organization. So if you have a topic or a special passion or even music that you like to play, you can go to the website at radiowaterloo.ca, and there's a submit show section where you can come up with the name of your show. You can give us some content, and Radio Waterloo gives all of the training. So I didn't know anything about broadcasting when I started here. I only had a passion to share voices. And I want to do a shout out to Nita Ryan, who joined us. And Nita was actually on last week. And Nita is an amazing woman who has Thundering Hooves organization in the United States. People have joined her to raise awareness for horses, and she has a positive message. We have people with us here on the Facebook Live. You may recognize some of these people: Ruth Catherine King, Mario Cisneros, and Michelle LaRoque Eklund. And
Hi, Michelle.
Hey, Michelle.
That's Michelle who plays Catherine in the
I figured it was the same Michelle. Yeah.
See, we've got a lot of people coming in that we're very familiar with.
Yeah, very good. Well, we got about 10 minutes left to go. I don't know if you guys have a song that you may want to play. We'll have to break the Facebook Live because Facebook doesn't allow us to play music that is trade or copyrighted. But you can still you can still join us on 102.7 FM. We're going to end the Facebook Live, but you can also listen to us via radiowaterloo.ca. We're going to come up with a song here shortly. And thanks so much for tuning into Blue Sky Radio. Next week, we are going to be doing some talking about this event that we're organizing where the CKMS is involved as well. Blue Sky Radio is involved. Equus Film Festival is involved. And the Royal Canadian Legion Branch 50 on Belmont and Gage in Kitchener is involved. And I want to give a special thank you and a shout out to Bren, who is going to be coming to speak as well at the event. So that was Johnny Diaz, Live Like He's Alive. Pretty different perspective for me here, Blue Sky Radio, but you know what? I'm inclusive and I like to share positive messages. So there you go. If you're a believer, if you're a non-believer, whatever your perspective is, really, we're all here together. So that's kind of my take on it. Eric, you had something to say about the poster.
Oh yeah, so my dear friend Brent Cherry did the design on this poster. He and I were like friends from when we were kids. We went to like a special needs school classes together in the middle of the summer, and we got to go swimming afterwards. And after that,
Nice.
we did the like best friends sleepovers, that sort of
Yeah.
thing. In the middle of public school, we kind of ended up dropping out of each other's lives for a bit, but then just before the series, the film production began, we got back into each other's lives, and he heard that I needed a poster, so I sent him these behind the scenes pictures in that, and told him about the format we were thinking of in that, and he has software that does the compositing for it and did the poster design for it, about 3 or 4 designs before we got it right, and that's what you see right here with the poster.
I just love when people come together to like use their creativity to build something together. No money exchanged, just the passion of a project, just believing in something good to do together.
Yeah. I will say that some of our actors were paid and some other people did it pro bono, but all for different
No worries.
sets of reasons, and we all had a great time and everyone enjoyed doing it, whether they were getting paid or not. They enjoyed doing it and
Nice.
liked it.
Troy, did you have anything that you wanted to end our conversation here with?
I just wanted to reiterate again that it doesn't matter who you are or what, world you come from. We're making a film that we want everyone to be able to enjoy. If you're, unsure about what path you want to take in life, we hope that this film, helps you consider things a little more. If you just want to, get out and enjoy a good movie, then we'll have something for you as well. But it's primarily, a faith-based message that we're hoping will inspire and motivate a lot of people.
For people to make good choices?
Yes.
Is that kind of the idea?
Inspire people to make good choices in life and not to give up hope. Just keep faith in your heart. Don't stop believing.
Don't stop believing. Hey, there's a song again. I know, right? We can.
Do we have time?
Do we have time? I don't know. We can look for that time right now. We might have to zone out with it. Don't stop. That's like back from the 80s when I was a small child. Yeah. That's Journey. Yeah, let's listen to this for the last couple of seconds. There we go. So this is Blue Sky Radio. Thank you so much for listening today. We're here with Starcross Production, and we will have them back in the future as well.
Thank you.